This is George Lees again. Hopefully we've now got rid of that incessant hum. And I look quite sinister there. It looks as if I'm in a funeral director's parlour. Yeah. And if you lot do not listen to the evidence I'm giving about your major international crimes, then it could well become a near-death scene for you. I don't understand how the gods do it, but I know that they can. And I'm going to tell you now, for the third attempt this morning, because they've busted my camera. Yeah, the camera that has made all 295 of those videos that reveal the ownership of the world, the massive genocides that they commit, all of the things that they have done to the peace-loving nations, and all of my persecution by Jedburgh Sheriff Court, and the people that are associated with the trivial crimes of my family that take you into Chipping Norton, and the massive crimes of the world owners who eventually come back to the Rothschilds. So let me talk again, because I've tried to upload this several times already, about Jessica De Rothschild. On the Company Check website they have obfuscated the capacity to reveal the details about when the director that's focused on that page was born, what their gender is, and all of the details about how much money they have at the bank. So when you visit Jessica De Rothschild on Company Check now, you just get a declaration that she is based in the town of Wing, very near Leighton Buzzard, where I owned my home entirely before I met my wife. And when my wife was driving into Leighton Buzzard behind a decrepit old car, the wheel came off the car in the village of Wing, and I did not realise until today that that was an act of God. Everything that happens in my life is a signal about who's going to be brought down, or what evidence I need to look for next in the corrupted, globalised world. Okay? And I've got my notebook out now, because they've dismembered entirely my speaker phones, my cameras, both cameras, the new one that my wife left for me and I gifted to my son, who goes to General Sir Charles Guthrie's Dundee University. That's the genocidal N.M. Rothschild banker and lord under the Tony Blair murderous regime, that has his pad in Dundee, where the university is run by Brian Cox the criminal, and all of his elite homes are in America. Okay, right then, back to the mundane issues that I just happened to be investigating this morning. Lady Jessica De Rothschild, no birth date. Yeah, registered in Wing, near Leighton Buzzard. Yeah, and that is where my first home was. It was entirely mine before these teams started to infiltrate my life and to try and bring me down, because they know, because of the soothsayer concept, that I'm coming to challenge their ownership of the world. Okay, so Jessica, what scams is she running? Henry Southern Holdings Limited since 2000. She's got on the directorships there Lady Victoria de Rothschild, Lord Wally Waldegrave, that's Lord William Waldegrave. These are just the highlights. John Gordon Clough, the cover in the big league with the Rothschilds for Algie Clough, who's in league with the minor criminals at Newcastle University, and the people that run the poison gardens with immunity from any laws on narcotics. That's the Duke of Northumberland, Perseus from the Roman court, and the man that is alleged to have lopped the head of the Gorgon in the myths about the deities that they perpetually replay. The next name is quite evil, because she's the regulator of the Parliamentary Banking Standards Committee, and I've reported hundreds of financial frauds to that woman. Her maiden name was Oppenheimer. She is Rosemary Ann Hodge on this business directorate. Peregrine Alex Rhodes of Rhodes Trust fame. Next company, Almeida Theatre Company Limited. Current secretary, Miss Tanya Jane Clark. Lady Boothby on the board. Mr Ganguly on the board. If it's a joke about nursery rhymes and it's in popular culture, it will be a massive fraud or a joke about religion or the war dead. So gingang gully 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 watch it. Yeah, I believe that used to be sung by the Brownies, the Boy Scouts, and all of the trainees, that are jokes for the goblins and the Holy Goblet Grail jokes, and the characters that you find on the church roof to stave off evil. All of them come together when the royal victims of their murders and their familicides come together at the biggest cathedral in our country to celebrate their unlawful killing of their relatives and their innocent wives. The next name on the directorate for Almeida Theatre is Miss Tamara Ingram. Then you've got the Honourable Susan Mary Barings. You remember the crashed bank? Watch the Rothschild movie about the Rothschilds and the ownership of the world, the links to the orchids on their lapel, and all of the jokes about getting down on the left knee when that man Rothschild had taken over the Bank of England and was knighted by the then illegitimate monarch. And very soon all of the monarchs are illegitimate because the Rothschild families begin to shag them. That's the King of Kings joke that was openly published in Punch at the time, okay, and is now covered up by the Crown Office at Jedburgh Sheriff Court, because Jedburgh Sheriff Court is part of the fraudulent Crown, which is why they keep changing the sheriffs to persecute me. Okay, so Mr Ganguly, and then we've got a Miss Tamara Ingram. Colin Ingram is a professor at Newcastle University. He understands entirely, and I now understand that, why the funding for all of UK universities and innocent research is suppressed. I gave him a lift from Dunedin Airport because the Dean, Professor Nicholson, yeah, who's a traitor to me and all of the New Zealand country and its innocent citizens, because she's just a Freemasonic slave from Bristol to steal from innocent little old New Zealand and to share those vicious jokes about the Punch and Judy shows and everything that the Bristolians, the Liverpudlians and the Birmingham citizens, who are slaves to the Crown Templar and the Burns Club and the romantic authors that steal from the world. Okay? So then you've got a director called Riki. University friends of mine now run a massive real estate empire out of Scotland. SPP Limited, current secretaries Hall Management Limited. As you now know, Hall is hell and is the underworld in Paris. Yet in that 6 Jewish angels jokes that mean that all of the religions are interlocked to the same root, and all of them are about optimizing the money stream for the leaders of that false religion. None of the worshippers ever get a life, and many of them get martyred. Many of them get killed in genocides because nobody but me appears to understand the links to the Jewish angels, the Third Reich, and everything that everybody believing being a lie. And all of that was shared in the war crimes inquest when Joseph Goebbels or in the Third Reich, where Joseph Goebbels proclaimed that if you keep telling the lie for long enough and you make it big enough, it will be believed. Okay. Previous directors at SPP Limited were, and secretaries were, JP Cord Limited and JP Corrs Limited, the Irish pop band, ever so romantic and ever such a shallow cover-up. SPP Speaking Limited, previous director Mrs. Barbara Cahan. Now when I first tried to go through, so that's Barbara Cahan, that operates 60 companies out of one trading address, sorry, thousands of companies out of one trading address. Look up the video I made on VJL Hancock's Cahill, the SAS and Mrs. Thatcher, and use the keywords murder and Jonathan Aitken, and you will find what these people represent, yeah, and the assets that they have accumulated before, after they become friends of the Chipping Norton criminal cabal. And Barbara Cahan operates both out of Finchley Road and Woodbury Grove, and all of that is a scandal. All of the Ponzi's that they run are stealing from the people and crashing the pension funds. You can't see my innocent moniker now, but I'm going to stop making that video because it's 11 minutes long, and I'm just technologically trying to replace all of the crashed devices. My speaker phones all have been broken since we returned from New Zealand for obvious reasons. Yeah, the microphone that I got back from my family on request did not work. The one that I bought in the lead up to Christmas from the pound shop did not work. Yeah, and this one, blessedly, is from our oldest computer that was crashed by Dr. Jones's team. That's the Indiana Jones and the links to the global cabal of thieves through the Scott family, which is the Walter Scott family in the Scottish borders, and links in to all of the dukes and duchesses and the suppression of all of the free people all across the globe and the Commonwealth concept. I'm going to stop there now, but I'm going to remind you that if you look for this woman Jessica De Rothschild on the business register that is company check now, it will be more and more difficult to find the facts because of the obfuscation. Yeah, and what you've got is a series of 8 or so companies, only one of which is the theatre company, has employed any employees other than the profiteering directors. Yeah, and that is 50 or 60 employees. These are massive holdings, they are massive profit streams, but it's director only, and Gordon Bowden and I have now explained that, and we've explained the sinister links of Barbara Cahan to the global theft project in every boiler room that she occupies. Mitchell Lane, all of those places, right under the Ritz in London. Yeah, that's Arlington Square. Yeah, the registered business premises for Lord Patten, now disappeared by the media for reputational reasons or because of the fatal act of God which he incurred. I'm going to make videos later on, if this one works, on the links of the Bonner lawman to the massive educational frauds in Hertfordshire and Ashridge College. That's the Bonner Law, the Canadian citizen who became the UK Prime Minister. It is a massive series of interlocking crimes that are genocidal and holocaustic, and I will not be stopped by petty break-ins to my house to interfere with my IT. Bye bye.